The Leafs will end up regretting the Timothy Liljegren trade one day. Take it or leave it, Rosie.
Leaf it. It's a coin toss, but again, I don't really. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I mean, I wish him the best. I'm sure everyone kind of says, I'm glad we got you moved to somewhere where you can play. I'm glad that, you and whoever is traveling with him can go and have an opportunity to have success with a different organization. That's all what everyone hopes. And if he goes off and finds another gear and gets put in a situation where he's able to flourish and he likes that market a lot better than the one he was in and his mental state is better, great for you. It doesn't mean we have to regret and say, we shouldn't have done that. We should have done that because it makes total sense for us to do it. So no, we're not going to regret it. Whether he goes on and has success or not, I don't think anyone should regret it because it's the thing to do today, here and now.
I'm gonna go with Leaf It as well. I don't think they'll regret it. I think at this point in his career, we all know what Timothy Liljegren is. You wish him your very best, his very best in his new location, his new team. But it's not like, I don't know. I just think it would be wild if Timothy Liljegren went to San Jose and turned into an all-star. Like, we sort of felt the same way when Rasmus Sandin was traded to Washington. People are like up in arms, like, oh my goodness, I can't believe they did that. We're like 2+ years removed, and it's the same Rasmus Sandin. Yeah, he's got some more opportunity, but it's not one of those things where I'm like, my goodness, I can't believe they traded Sandin. I think I'm going to feel the same way in a couple years on Liljegren here.
Yeah, or Engvall.
Yeah, exactly.
Is Engvall in the Mindsies right now?
Dude, that guy got a 7-year extension from Uncle Lou.
Can you imagine we got Engvall from whatever, Jersey, or where did he go? Washington or Jersey? Where did he go again?
Islanders.
Yeah, can you imagine we got Engvall and they didn't want him and he wasn't doing what he was supposed to do, and we ink him up to a 7-year monster and then waive him, whatever, 2 years later? Holy, people would be at the throats of the Toronto Maple Leafs. But for once, we send it the other way. But no one likes to talk about that stuff, do they? So yeah, I don't think worrying about trades you made that made sense at the time are anything to talk about down the road.
I'm not kidding. That might be one of the worst contracts handed out in NHL history. You get Pierre Engvall and then you give him a 7-year extension. He's like a health bomb. He's getting put on waivers. Like, it's time for Lou Lamoriello to retire. I'm sorry to say it. And if I don't show up tomorrow, you know where to find me, in a dumpster somewhere. But it's truth, man. I'm sorry.
Who's his agent, man? I would like to shake his hand.
I know.
How do you get to a point where, imagine they were just like, no, like a 3-year deal is kind of where we're at. 7.
We'll take 7.
3, 7. Okay, fine, 7. Oh, man. I kind of did that to Paul Holmgren, man. They offered me a 2-way, and then we were going 1-way, and then we were going 2-year 1-way. And they're like, oh, I don't know. And then finally they're just like, come on. And then Paul Holmgren was like, oh, he reminds me of myself and he's a Flyer. Let's do it. And I think they might have the same thing going on times 10 over there with Pierre Engvall, because that is laughable.
Man, it's funny. I was thinking about that very same thing the other day when I was driving. I'm like, how did those negotiations go with Pierre Engvall, where it's like, let's land on 7 years for Pierre Engvall? He was probably laughing, putting down the phone.
Yeah, like that's where, did you show up to his office with a mask on and a gun and just rob the place? Because it sure as hell looks like it now.
I'm pretty much Brock Nelson. Okay, Lou, just give me the contract. I'll sign it right now. Fraser Minton will be in Toronto's lineup, for Game 1 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Take it or leave it, Rosie.
It's kind of coin tossy, but I'm just simply going to leave it. Just because of his age and experience level, I would be happy to be proven wrong. I think that he's capable. I just think that he needs a little bit of seasoning, and I think that the big boys that are already there are going to find their way and put things together and gel and have that chemistry where they don't necessarily need that guy to step up and take that role just yet.
I really want to go take it because it's a long season and weird things can happen, but I'm with you. I'm with Leaf It. I already think this team has pretty decent depth, more than we envisioned. And I think come closer to the trade deadline, it's no secret they're probably going to hunt at least 1 forward, if not 2 forwards. And it just doesn't look good numbers-wise for a Fraser Minton. Having said that, I do think there's going to be a point in time this season where he is called up. Like, I think if you and I are both sitting here right now and you're talking about the first call-up from the Marlies at forward, Minton's 1-2 on that list. Like, he's high atop the list. I think he's going to get a shot. And if he can prove that he can play at the NHL level, I think you have to keep him in the lineup. It goes without saying. So I'm probably somewhere in between, but the sake of this exercise, I'll go with Leaf It.
Yeah, and I could go either way. I mean,
Yeah.
he's going to get called up this year. He's going to play NHL games this year. I can almost guarantee that, barring any major injury to himself. But I just it could easily happen where he comes in, he does well and plays a role, and he's you can rely on him and you can give him the right minutes, and Chief feels good with him in there, and he's adjusted to the pro game, and the physicality's not hurting him, and it's not too fast for him or quick, and he keeps his confidence. And then away he goes, and you think to yourself, oh, yeah, remember when we needed a centerman and he was hurt? That was a long time ago, wasn't it? And it's January, and he's just, clicking around playing every single game. Easily could happen. I just needed to pick one or the other, and I picked, he might be a little bit unseasoned and needs some experience, but I wouldn't put it past him.
The Leafs power play will finish top 10 in the league this season. Whew.
All I can base it on is what do I know now? And it's absolutely not. I mean, I hope they don't finish in the bottom 10 because of what's going on right now. But I think they will improve. No question about it. I really think they'll improve. I think there'll be times where they get it where it's hot. And I hope the timing of it means that it's right around that power play time. But yeah, this can't last forever. It really can't. But I think the scar tissue's kind of there, and the squirrels are running in the head, and they are very lost. And I don't know if this group's capable of getting such chemistry going where they sneak into the top 10. But, if they could get to the middle of the pack or to 12, 13, I mean, I think that would mean that they've got it going pretty good. And I guess there's a lot of season back. If they do get it hot and forget about this, they could creep into it. But I just don't see it from what I see right now.
Do you know where they're at right now? 30th of 32, 9.4% on the power play.
Like, this team that's bread and butter, should be the power play. They should be a potent power play. Every team that goes into playing the Toronto Maple Leafs should be saying, stay out of the box. It will kill us. And right now they're like, maybe take some penalties. We'll get some shorties. Remember when they were getting scored on more than they were scoring? Was it last year, the year before? They were getting scored on the power play more than they were scoring. They have some wounds and some warts on that thing. And honestly, it's just unacceptable. It really is. Those guys should be able to figure it out and come together and say, okay, what do you want me to do on the power play? And I'm capable of doing it. What do you want me to do on the power play? And I will do that. And everyone has a bloody job, and everyone knows what the other person's job is, and they friggin' do it together with a system, any system. Right now, it's just like they're just looking at each other going, oh, I guess I'll just read and react off of this guy because, whoa, oh shit, he's drop passing it to me. Like, fuck. It's horrible right now, and as you've stated, it's 30th out of 32 in the NHL. So lots of work to go there, but I think a power play is something that all of a sudden you can just have it and find it, and away you go and shed that monkey off your back. But they're certainly not there yet.
I'm going with take it. I can't believe I'm saying that, but there's way too much star power between the two units right now that they can't find it where they're a top 10 offense in the league. Because you're right. I mean, we could very well be having this conversation in a week from now, and it's like, can you believe it? Toronto's power play 6 for the last 10. Like, they're that potent. They're that good. But right now, they're in a huge dry spell. What are they, like 2 for 32 on, or 3 for 32 on the season? Like, it's so ugly to even say the numbers.
That's just such a detriment to your team. I mean, when you think of that many opportunities squandered, every time you kill a penalty, the other team kind of gets a little bit of momentum, right? And then they get back to 5-on-5 and they make a little bit of a push. And mentally, killing that many penalties and coming up short on that many power plays is just not good for momentum and for long-term success. And I think that, I mean, if you look at last year's playoffs, going to game 7 with Boston, and they're running at 4.8% or whatever it was on the power play. If you just have an average power play, man, and you're running at like 17-18% or something, which isn't even really good for this group, I don't think, you would have won that series. Hands down, you would have won that series. And it's been their Achilles heel. And I just can't believe they hired a guy, Mark Savard, to come in. And I'm not even sure why, because where he was before in Calgary, it's not like their power play was real special. He's come in and done absolutely nothing. They have not improved one iota. They look completely discombobulated still. So I think that's their number one issue right now.
Make sure to check out more of our content right here on the Leafs Nation YouTube page. We got long form interviews, we got clips, we got epic rants by Jay Rosehill. We simply have it all. And don't forget, You can find out much more at theleafsnation.com. Thanks so much for watching.